My name is Jason Creel and this is Lawn Care Life. Today I got a call for a Bermuda lawn and I pulled up and it's in rough shape. So I'm going to show you the lawn, talk to you about what's going on with this lawn, and then give you a plan of action of how I'm planning on helping this lawn improve. I'm not saying I'm going to win any awards with this lawn, but we're trying to make it as good as it can be. So let's check it out right now. Today's video is sponsored by Yard Book. If you're thinking about getting into the weed control and fertilization business or the lawn business, you might consider Yard Book for your software. Check them out at yardbook.com. Okay, so here's the yard. This is a Bermuda lawn, and we're in the neighborhood where these yards were pretty much all sodded with Bermuda grass for the most part. And you see some situations going on. So what am I noticing here? Well, one, I mean, it is early in the year, but there's plenty of Bermuda grass here. There's some that's already turning green, and then there's still the dormant Bermuda left from last year. But you notice right here, a big bare spot in the middle, rocks and all kind of terrible stuff going on. So that's not great. I mean, ideally, the customer would bring in some topsoil right here and make that look better. But I think a tree was here and they had the stump ground or something like that. So, you know, the Bermuda will probably fill in significantly over this area. But again, ideally, we'd have some better soil to work with. Now, we got a lot of weeds in the yard. We got, you know, things like cudweed and oxalis and just, you know, all kind of different stuff. The ones that I don't like are weeds like this. This is broom sedge, and it's basically terrible. You've got Dallas grass in here and things like that that it's just difficult to get rid of. Now you got some moss growing in here that's probably doesn't drain well, has some shade issues, probably low pH. I mean, you know, a lot of issues with a yard that hadn't been taken care of very well, but I think it's going to bounce back pretty quickly. So there's some Dallas grass, but not just covered with Dallas grass. And you get over here and I instantly notice this grass looks a whole lot better on the side of the house, and the reason being is because it's zoysia. Zoysia is going to be much more shade tolerant, so it looks like a kind of a fine leaf blade zoysia, like an emerald zoysia or something like that. So that's great. Got some POA in the yard, but it's going to be dying out soon, so I'm not really overly concerned with the POA. So what are we going to do? Of course, you got dandelions. You know, they're very common this time of year and blooming and things like that. So I'm going to do a few things to this yard. One, I'm going to spray it. I guess a couple things today. I'm going to spray it and I'm going to fertilize it. So I'm going to talk to you about those. The spray, got quite a few things in the tank, and this is what I've had mixed up for people that are signing up right now. So if I would have sprayed this yard in January, that would have been ideal, because that would have been before the crabgrass germinated. And I could have just sprayed something like prodiamine and put a three-way herbicide in there like triplet and atrazine is what I'm using that time of year. And that would help control the cool season weeds, but that prodiamine would do a great job on the warm season weeds that hadn't germinated yet. Well, because we're in late March when I'm doing this video, the crabgrass has already germinated, or at least some of it has. I've still got the prodiamine in there as my pre-emergent. I've also got Q-ball in there, which is the active ingredient quinclorac, which can help as a post-emergent for crabgrass. So I'm hoping that if it's already germinated, which I believe it has, hopefully that quinclorac is going to knock it out, and it can also help with some of the other weeds in the lawn as well. Now, I've also put metsulfuron in there, which is really cheap herbicide that I can use to knock out some of these tough weeds. And then I do have the triplet in there, which can help with the dandelions and things like that. So it's kind of an expensive combination of products, but this is a combination I'm using when I get a new sign up like this to try to get the weeds out of control. Now, a lot of these weeds are going to die out, but my thought is if I don't get these weeds under control, then the fertilizer, yes, is going to benefit, but it's going to also be benefiting the weeds and the Bermuda grass, which can spread very quickly if there's not weeds all in the way. But if there's all the weeds in the way, the Bermuda is going to have a tough time spreading. So I'm putting this out here. I'm going to try to get the weeds under control. Then I'm going to fertilize with a slow release fertilizer that's going to feed the lawn hopefully for months. And so when it warms up and we get rain, that Bermuda is going to really start taking off, and it's going to be able to fill in a lot of the areas where the weeds were. Now later on, I need to put some lime on this yard. I can imagine it probably has a low pH, but my understanding is if the pH can be low and you still see some benefits. Now if it gets too low, be limited on how much benefit you're going to get from the nutrients. So I don't expect that to happen. I expect to see a lot of good results from the fertilizer. And then, like I said, later on in the year, we'll do lime. And hopefully next year it's going to even look better. But I'm just trying to get this thing headed in the right direction right now. So let's spray, and then I'm going to spread the fertilizer, and hopefully we can come back and see this yard later and see how great it's looking. All right, now I'm gonna throw some fertilizer on the yard. I don't have my ride-on machine today, so I'm using a chest-mounted spreader to throw the fertilizer out. Okay, I did decide to do three things. The third thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a non-selective herbicide. I'm going to spray the broom sedge and Dallas grass, some of those tough weeds that are hard to get rid of. If that causes a little bit of damage to the turf, I'm doing it so early on such a thin lawn, I honestly don't think it's going to be very noticeable. And that Bermuda grass is going to fill in really quickly. So that's my plan of action. I appreciate you watching the video. I'm Jason Creel. There's almost 900 videos on the channel, so you can click the channel name, go check those out, or subscribe. If you want to get in the lawn business, or maybe you're already in the lawn business, you can go to lawncarelife.com. We've got resources available there, including the Weed Control Fertilization Academy, Weed Control Cheat Sheet, Weed Control Fertilization Documents, Lawn Business Master Academy, Mosquito Spraying Academy. I got all kinds of stuff. lawncarelife.com. Check it out. We'll see you guys in the next video.